Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Temptress surprise attack, Kyawei, and basically how good she is as a unit in DBZ Dokkan Battle. Now, she had her easy aim, she looks really solid. I have her at 100%, so I thought let's take a look. She's 150% Pepe Gal's lead with Key +3, greatly raising attack and defense for one turn whilst causing supreme damage to the enemy and lowering their attack and defense greatly. She has Key +4, attack and defense of 140%, and an additional attack and defense of 140% when there's another Pepe Gal's category ally attacking on the team. She also gets another 140% attack and defense, and a great chance of 40% attack and defense when performing a super attack. She gets a great chance of stunning the attacked enemy, whilst also having a high chance of launching an additional super attack. She has the ability as well to increase her evasion when she's facing a tournament participant's enemy by 20%. She has an additional defense of 40% and attacks effective against all types when performing a super attack if the target enemy is in attack down status, defense down status, or their super attack is sealed, and all her attacks become critical hits, and she gets an additional super attack when performing a super attack if the target enemy is stunned. Her links are the Innocence, Flea, Coward, and Fighter, Battlefield Diva, Tournament of Power, and Sharing the Limit. In terms of build, it depends a lot on what you want to do. Additional and evasion feel like the best. If you can trigger her full passive, I had crit because back in the day, that's just what I thought. Nowadays, I'd probably say she's really good in the ESBR, SBR, any situation where you can proc her attack down passive. So realistically, additional and evasion is probably the best, considering she has 50% unconditional and 70% with a tournament participant's enemy. In terms of everything else, she looks really solid, and she doesn't actually need Pepe Gal's category units besides one other to trigger her full passive, which is really cool. Now, in terms of basically how she works, functionally she's a great second slot damage dealer who will have great defense after super, but at the same time will realistically be able to do a decent chunk of damage, especially when you can proc her full passive. You'll see her fire off multiple super attacks, and her defense after super, depending on whether you can proc the additional 40% attack and defense, can be close to 500k before we factor in the additional defense gain from her supers. What this means is that ultimately she looks really solid. Her damage can fluctuate between just below 10 million to all the way up to 12 or 13 million, depending obviously on link leveling as well as also subsequent additionals. Realistically speaking, she looks really good. For me personally, I find her to be honestly pretty damn solid, and I think she's a really good unit overall that ultimately has a really nice presence in terms of just her general performance. I genuinely think she's really good. Obviously, link-wise, she is a little bit bare bones. She's got Tournament of Power, which is great for tournament participants or USS team, and she does have Battlefield Diva, so she's not without solid links, but she does have ones like Flea and Coward, which makes things a little bit difficult to kind of, you know, I guess, make. At least for me, that's just like how I kind of work. So I think overall she's solid. I do think she could have slightly better link sets, but I think in general she's a cool unit. I think she comes together nicely. I think the way she helps her team is really good. I think everything that she does is really quite solid. Obviously, yeah, I do think she could technically perform a little bit better, which I think is ultimately for the best. You know, yeah, she's a good unit, but I don't think they need to make her cracked. It's not like she needed to be absolutely insane, if you know what I mean. But yeah, overall, a really nice unit, a really solid unit, and for me, ultimately, pretty cool. Like, I do think she's really solid. I do think she's like really good. I think overall she has a very good purpose as well. Like, she ultimately does a very good amount of damage. She's very good in situations where you can proc that full range of, you know, like defense, that full range of debuffing, etc. So I think she's good. Like, I think she's really solid. Obviously, besides that, I would say, you know, realistically speaking, that I think everything else about her genuinely leaves her to being a good floating damage dealer or a good second slot unit. Like, again, I wouldn't necessarily say that she's an absolute beast of a first slot unit. She's not got the starter turn defense to be in that position, but I would say realistically she is really solid overall. So for me, I find her to be a really good unit. I like her. I really like how she brings everything together. She'll be good on the Pepper Gals team. She will be good for basically, she'll be really, really good for, like, let's say, SBR, ESBR. There's some blue zones against USS Saga units where you can debuff them. I think she'll be exceptional there. I think she'll be good in pretty much anything you can face a tournament participants in, because I think, ultimately speaking, that is an area where she clearly shines. Like, I think she very much shines in that situation, so I think that's very, very good. So yeah, realistically speaking, I think she's good. Like, I think she realistically could be a really solid unit. So for me, I'm very happy with that. And yeah, overall, like, I think she's just really, really solid. So with that being said, that's pretty much everything from me. Obviously, overall, she's a very, very, very good unit. Link-wise, just link her up, Battlefield Diva, and everything else. So yeah, I think a really, really good unit. But yeah, for me overall, she's really solid, and I think you should definitely try to use her. With that being said, for a 100% unit, her output is still not at like an insane level. So unless you are specifically looking to run her to beat certain stages, she's more just going to be a niche option rather than like a mainstay of your team. But still, very cool, very good, and that's it from me. Bye.